Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Joe. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, whether it be random thoughts, stream commentary, movie review, re-review, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below, and again, I'll get to it as soon as I can. Now, Tombstone, of course, the reason Joe requested this was because of the passing of Val Kilmer. Now, I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Val Kilmer, while he's one of those actors that I, of course, knew of and seen quite a few of his films, I don't know if I would say he was a favorite actor of mine, but I liked a chunk of his stuff. I liked Thunderheart, Real Genius, which that review will be coming in the pipeline, so to speak. He was great in Willow. I think he was the best part of Willow. Top Gun, of course, among others, but I think I said in a video before that if I have to think of a favorite Val Kilmer performance, it would have been this as Doc Holliday. Because he really just became that character with his demeanor and the accent, but it didn't feel like a goofy accent. And you really bought him being sick, and you bought him where he has a certain look to him that there was a dangerous part of him. Although maybe with his sense of humor, you'd be a bit left unguarded. And wonderful performance, which I'll get to in a bit. But this movie is one of the best westerns of all time. I think most people would say that. If you did a top 10, maybe even a top 5 of best westerns, this gotta be on the list. I mean, my favorite will always be Young Guns. That's the one I'm the most nostalgic for. But this one might be my second favorite western, because number one, it's crazy how this film was at all competent with the way it was made. Where you had one guy, Kevin Jarre, who he was a writer, he was going to direct. They filmed for, a month or so, or a few weeks, and then he gets fired. People up top did not like the way he was shooting, they didn't like what they were seeing. So, from what I understand, not a lot of that footage was in the movie. So they get someone else. Now, George P. Cosmatos is the credited director. And I like George Cosmatos. I mean, I love Cobra and Rambo 2, although most say Stallone directed those. But I mean, I also like Of Unknown Origin. I like this film, Leviathan, which is directed by George, and really love those films. So it's one of those things that more than not people say Kurt Russell really directed it. Then some would say it was more of a committee of people. Michael Biehn, he's been interviewed multiple times talking about how nobody liked George Cosmatos. Nobody liked the way he treated people. Had that extra with the big tits come over here. And apparently that's how George Cosmatos talked. That no one respected the guy, no one liked the guy, and it was more Kurt Russell and again the group getting this film done. And the fact that all that came to be, the fact you have a film like this really shows that the talent on screen. And one critique I'll give the film is you could tell stuff was cut out. And I still really enjoy the film we have. But yeah, you could tell it was a longer movie. Certain characters, they kind of either switch sides or they kind of disappear, or you think they're going to be in the film more. And more than likely, that stuff was shot, but at the end it just was cut out or whatever the case may be. But yeah, you look at the cast. The cast in this film is insane. You got Kurt Russell, who is great as Wyatt Earp. Fantastic. Kurt is the man. as we call him, Kurt fucking Russell, because he's Steve from New York, John Carpenter's The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, Tango and Cash. He's just Backdraft. He's just great. Great. And I mean, even if I don't like a film, it's usually not because of him. I can't think of a movie where he gave a bad performance. And I would say a good chunk of his films I do quite enjoy. Not all of them. Tequila Sunrise I could do without. The Art of the Steal, I reviewed that. That was eh. But Kurt was cool in it. But he's great as Wyatt Earp. He definitely has that intensity. Quite a few moments where that intensity is shown to the limelight. Val Kilmer, I mentioned, given a career best performance. You also have Sam Elliott. You have Bill Paxton, may he rest in peace, who of course was in Aliens. Speaking of which, you also have Michael Biehn. You got Michael Rooker, who of course would be in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. You have, I mentioned Michael Biehn, of course, Powers Boothe. Even like Thomas Hayden Church, John Corbett, which he was on, Northern Exposure, that TV show back in the day. I think Terry O'Quinn from The Stepfather, he's in this. I think he's in this. Which is fine, he's also in Young Guns. Like I said, the amount of people in this film is great. Billy Bob Thornton, very early role from him. Billy Zane. It's just crazy the amount of people in this film, stacked. Now, I know there's another film around this time that Kevin Costner did called Wyatt Earp. That's a film I never remember. I think Dennis Quaid was Doc Holliday. I don't remember him being bad, but it wasn't as memorable as Val's performance was. I just remember Wyatt Earp being more boring, more tedious to watch. And like no one talks about that movie. If they mention it, they mention Tombstone, not Wyatt Earp. You know, for good reason. And yeah, I can't even remember much of Wyatt Earp, but here I can remember just not even going from beginning to end. Kurt Russell going, no, in slow-mo and just blowing the shit out of the bad guys. Or him giving the warning, you tell him I'm coming and hell's coming with me. To Val Kilmer's, I'll be your Huckleberry. To the standoff between Michael Biehn and Val Kilmer. Just a lot of memorable moments in this. Whether it be early on when, hell, the first time you see Val Kilmer and he's playing cards, 500 must be a peach of a hand. And he's playing against Frank Stallone. Because I'm watching going, is that who the hell I think it is? It's Frank Stallone, okay. Oh, when Kurt and his family get to Tombstone because they want to start a new life. They want to get into some type of business. Make some money off saloon, off of gambling, off of that ownership. Goes in to fix this place, but in order to do so, he's got to get rid of this guy who's been staying there, and it's Billy Bob Thornton, who's being a prick. But then Kurt just completely manhandles him, just slaps the shit out of him and goes, I said throw down, boy. You don't do something, you'll stand there and bleed. See, that's a good line. There's a lot of good lines in this film. Like that one, hell's coming with me, I'll be your Huckleberry. It's not a lot of westerns you think of that have memorable lines of dialogue, if you think about it. Or at least as many as this film does. And the cast just works so well together. And the tension between Michael Biehn and Val Kilmer worked very well. You must be Doc Holliday. That's the rumor. And you just see Val, because his character has tuberculosis. Can't even say the word right. Tongue-tied. So you see that at times he's weak and he's sweating, but he's not too weak because he'll pull a fast one on you. And I see he does a very good performance. I keep repeating that. I mean, I love the bit when Michael Biehn shows off with his guns, and then Val Kilmer looks at him and he has a little cup and he's doing the same thing. That's a very fun moment. There's some nice bits of tension, like the gunfight at the OK Corral, where you have the up-close shots of each of the men. A little bit of Sergio Leone there. Oh, another recognizable actor, Stephen Lane. I mean, the plot is pretty simple. Like I said, Kurt Russell is with his woman. They go to Tombstone, meets up with his brothers, Sam Elliott and Bill Paxton, let them start a new life. Things seem to be going okay, but there's this group called the Cowboys who wear this red sash on them. And at the very beginning, you see them kill the Mexican police and kill everybody at this wedding, and you know they mean business, and they're cruel, and they don't give a fuck. And then you look at the bad guys, like Powers Boothe and Michael Biehn, and like you have some very high-octane actors, in my opinion, among this group of people. I know Michael Biehn has said that some of his stuff was cut out, and some of the stuff with the bad guys were cut out. Eventually, they arrive in town, tension arises, that leads to the gunfight at the OK Corral, that leads to a marshal was killed, Sam Elliott is a new marshal. Kurt Russell don't like this because we're putting ourselves in trouble when we shouldn't. We're supposed to be escaping from this. Eventually, Kurt helps his brothers, and Kurt, Val, who's a friend of theirs, Doc Holliday, Sam, and Paxton, they go down. You have the gunfight. When people get shot, actual blood squibs. None of the CG shit that you see all the time nowadays. Things seem to be okay, but then Sam Elliott gets injured and he can't use his arm anymore. Bill Paxton gets killed, and he takes his family away to safety. But then now he's going to get revenge and kill any cowboy with a red sash, and Doc Holliday's going to help him. Now, when I said there's stuff missing from the film, you tell like stuff with the girls are missing. You know, they try to throw in this love story where the girl that Kurt is with, she's not all there. She's addicted to laudanum, if I pronounce that right. And so he's gravitating towards this other girl who's part of this troupe with Billy Zane that deal with the theater. It felt like there would have been more footage with Billy Zane in the film because he's not in it a whole lot, but it feels like he should have been in it more. The girl that was Kurt Russell's woman at the beginning, it feels like there was probably more with her and more of a split between her and Kurt, and more of her going off her way, and how Kurt kind of sees her in a different light because of her addiction. I would not be surprised if there's more of that in the original version of the film. Also, Michael Rooker, he's with the bad guys, but then after Bill Paxton dies, now he's with the good guys. It's not really that well explained as to why Michael Rooker changes sides. He just does. And like I said, Michael Rooker, he barely has more than 5 lines of dialogue. I would bet he had more stuff in the movie. Either more of him having conversations within the group, or having doubts within the group, or maybe he was friendly with Bill Paxton, or like something like that. There had to have been something more with Michael Rooker, because again, him changing sides kind of seemed almost out of the blue. Like, why is he doing that? So, I mean, it would have been nice to see that extra footage. I don't even know if it exists anymore or what have you. Now, granted, the film that we have definitely is a bit faster paced. Maybe all that stuff I'm talking about would have added, of course, to the running time, and maybe people would have felt it was a bit too boring or a bit too sluggish, or because it's still about a 2-hour movie, so it's not a short film. But yeah, just some things like Michael Rooker changing sides. And I'm trying to think, he might have changed sides before Paxton dies. It might have been after Sam Elliott got hurt. I think that might have been the case. So yeah, so maybe he was friends with Sam Elliott. And like I said, it would have been nice to have a bit more of that mentioned. Developed, explained better, more thoroughly. But I mean, it's hard to complain about a film where you have Kurt Russell being a badass, going toe to toe with the bad guys, going to the river. No, no, just not giving a shit about the bullets. The bullets are too afraid of Kurt Russell. That's why. It's Kurt fucking Russell. The bullets, they go towards him and they go, just get the fuck away from him. And just shoots the shit out of the bad guys, including Powers Boothe. Doc Holliday gets a couple people as well. You see bits of montage of them going after these cowboys and killing them or hanging them, and you definitely feel the fury of this group of people. I'm trying to think. Of course, I mentioned the bit between Michael Biehn and Val Kilmer is great. Because Michael Biehn wants to fight Kurt Russell. Val hears about this, so he decides to get up ahead. And it's also interesting because Michael Biehn sees him and is like, my fight's not with you. It's interesting when you look at that because it means a sense of bravado has been lost on Michael Bihn's character. Where throughout the film, when you've seen him, he's been very stoic and very cold-blooded and ready to kill. But now that he's up against this guy who, in all instances, may have been worse than Michael Biehn, at least or at least more deadly, I should say. Maybe not worse, but more deadly. Now Michael Biehn is freaked out. Because I was given, it's not meant for you. It's between me and Wyatt Earp. Oh yeah, we talked in the bar, but I was just kidding. And Val Kilmer staring at him goes, I wasn't. And you see these doubts raining on Michael Bihn's facade, and then, okay, let's do it. And the way, like, Michael Biehn plays it very well, too. And if some of his stuff was cut out, that's a shame. I would like to have seen more of that, but I like Michael Biehn. Aliens, The Abyss, The Terminator, among other films. And you have that showdown. It's also interesting with the way Val talks to Michael Biehn after he shot him. Like, it's a headshot. His body can't quite deal with it. And just the way Val's like talking to him and kind of like mocking him or something, like, however you want to put it. Just gave a little bit of a different feel, different angle to that whole thing. It's also interesting because typically with these type of films, you think, okay, your lead is Wyatt Earp, Kurt Russell. It's going to be this big scene, confrontation where Kurt is handling the bad guys. I mean, I guess if you say that comes before with him going to the river and the water and shooting Powers Boothe. But it didn't feel like a climactic ending. It felt like, another set piece. It just kind of, Val kills Michael Biehn, and then they get a couple people. They chase after Stephen Lane, who gives away his sash, and then it's kind of a wrap-up final moments between him and Val Kilmer, final moments between him and this girl he's down in love with. The Robert Mitchum narration felt a bit weird. It was fine at the beginning, but at the end, it felt like the narration was there to explain stuff that either they couldn't show or they were going to show but was cut out. Maybe it's just me, but the Robert Mitchum narration at the ending felt a bit kind of weird. Maybe not. I actually think it would have worked better if you just did the text. Like they show text of what happened next. I don't know why. It makes me wonder if that was the initial ending or if there's going to be something else or something extended. Maybe not. But yeah, this film still works. It's still a classic. Memorable dialogue, excellent cast, top-notch performances by Powers Boothe and Michael Biehn and Kurt Russell and especially Val Kilmer. Some moments there, again, make me laugh, like the bit between him and Billy Bob Thornton or Val's lines, "I'm your Huckleberry." Just classic. Still holds up, still great. So, rest in peace to Val Kilmer. To this day, people still remember this performance, and it's, again, because it has a comfortable feel with the character, even though the character, again, is sick most of the time. Still has a sense of stature to it. That's how else to explain it. So, with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.